Here's exactly how AI voiceovers make me over $8,500 every single day. You're watching this video because when it comes to ads, you're lost and you think that just straight calo ripping is going to get you to that level of scale, and I'm going to be the first one to come here and tell you that it's not. The reason why AI voiceover ads are so scalable is because your messaging in the ad is going to be 10 times better. Also, you can test angles a lot faster. And if you're trying to scale just off calo, that is a sure way that your brand will eventually die. And by the way, my name is Zach, and I help dropshippers who are completely lost when it comes to making ads that are actually able to scale. In this video, we'll be going over the same process that I use with my student Xander that helped him hit his first 100K month. And once you see exactly how I go about making AI voiceover ads, it's going to become a lot more clear, and this is going to get stupid simple. I'm going to show you guys exactly how we're going about research for this process, how we're going about actually what we're about to be testing, how we're going about actually batching these creatives, and how we're going about outsourcing the work. And then I'm also leaving one more thing out that is a mentorship exclusive. So all you'll know about here on YouTube will just be the points that we're about to go over, and this will be enough points to kind of get you started with what you need to know. The first thing we're going to be going over is the research. Who are you selling to? This is massive. You got to know exactly who you're selling to. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually make the starting documents, which makes research a lot more easier. And then also we're going to be going into how to actually do manual market research. That is probably the most important part when it actually comes to writing scripts that your customers want to hear and we're actually being able to write in their voice. So first I'm going to jump over to CaloData, and then this is the product that we are going to be writing the scripts in. A lot of you guys have probably already seen this before. This was a really good product that started trending a while back ago. If you try to sell this now, you'd be pretty fried, but this is a very good product, and I want to write scripts for this product. So this is what we're going to be basing the video around. So the first thing that we need to do is create our doc. So let's just pop open this right here. And if you guys do want this doc, just DM me on Instagram. It'll be ZZXEcom. I'll also leave it down in the description for you guys to just go through there as well. The first thing that you need to do is actually find a competitor who's also selling this product. So the first thing we're going to do is come over here to ads library, paste that in, and then we're going to go over here and just grab the product's name. So I'm just going to copy hair density roll-on serum, copy that, and then we're going to paste that into the ads library. Just make sure you select all ads, paste that in, boom, and then let's see what kind of competitors we have. So we'll scroll through here, and then we kind of want to be looking for somebody who's actually been running for a decent amount of time and somebody who actually looks like they have a pretty good product page. So this person, I'm already seeing, yep, they have a really good product page. This is good enough for us to use. So I'm just going to use this tool called Go Full Page, and I'm just going to snap an entire screenshot of the entire page. Then we're going to download that and use that when we are actually making our docs. So I'm going to download that real quick, and then we're going to jump back over here to the doc. We're going to copy this first part, control that, and then we're going to pop over here to ChatGPT. Once we're in ChatGPT, we're just going to paste this in, insert the product name. So come back over here, grab the product name, insert the product name right here. And then for target audience, I'm going to go to the calo ads and kind of see what are like the main people that are being targeted in this. So we're seeing a lot of men. So I'm probably going to be making this around men who are balding. All right. Yeah, it's mostly men are the ads. You do want to make sure that like your research docs are kind of leading towards what the calo rips are just to start with, just so you can kind of get a good understanding of who is the main person who's actually buying this product. So I'm just going to put in men over, let's do 40, men over 40 who have tried everything when it comes to hair loss. Because you got to also think about like what's the market sophistication level, and if we're doing something like hair loss, this is a very sophisticated market. Most people who are suffering with baldness have tried literally everything when it comes to hair loss. So with this, obviously, like this isn't a unique mechanism anymore, but the unique mechanism on this one is that it has this little roller, and you can apply it directly onto certain spots that you need it, instead of using some oil that gets all over, or using some shampoo where it's just getting everything, or taking a pill where you're getting hair all over your body. You can just use this and target your hair loss in specific areas. So I'm going to do men over 40 who have tried everything when it comes to hair loss, and they are suffering from male pattern baldness. Hair pattern baldness. Then also I'm going to add in like kind of like a desire that they have. And they have the desire to get their confidence back. And then I'm also going to think of like what should we really be targeting here. So if we're going to be targeting, actually now I kind of want to switch this. Now I kind of want to switch this to men over 30. So I want to do men over 30, and I want to target the people who they're trying to get their confidence back so that when they go out to the bar with their friends, they can have success with women. Success with women. So that's kind of what I'm going to do for this, and then I'm going to paste in the screenshot that we just got. Boom, I'm going to send that out and then let chat start to cook on that a little bit, and while that's cooking, we'll come back here and grab our second one. So boom, we're going to grab this, and then make sure you guys download both of these research docs because you're going to need that to prompt this next section. And then while that's cooking up, we'll just paste this in, and then I'm going to upload the research docs. You guys will actually see exactly how important it is creating these research docs, especially when we're going to be using Claude for writing our copy. These are very, very important so we kind of have a baseline of who we're selling to, what the product's about, what are the different solutions that people in this market have tried, what's the level of sophistication, everything like that. So don't skip this part. Make sure you guys create these research docs. All right, now that the first one's done, we can send out the research part, and then now we'll come back over here, grab this last part, come back over to ChatGPT, paste it into here, insert the product name, insert that product name, and then make sure you change this to deep research. As you guys can see, we're already getting some good things from the research prompt that we sent out. So as you guys can see, existing solutions, selection is gold for hair loss. Like hair loss, people have already tried pills, they've tried foams, oils, micro needling, hair transplants, hats, and denial. So like there's already a bunch of different things that the people in this market have tried. So that's why we're really trying to target something different. So now that this is done, we're going to send out this deep research prompt, and it is going to ask you a couple questions before you actually get going with it. All right, so target market, are you specifically focused on men 30 to 55 experiencing male pattern baldness, or should we include other demographics, younger women, younger men? I'm going to say I want to target younger men from, let's just do 25 to 35. I just think that this would be better because this is kind of like the prime age where you're looking to find your wife. So this would be the time that you're most insecure about like losing your hair. Like maybe when you're 50, you have a wife and kids and everything. If your hair goes, like it's not the biggest deal in the world. So that's what we're just going to do for this one. And then for use cases, direct response sales copy, product development, competitive market, another use specifically. So we're going to be writing this for A. So direct response sales copy. So we'll just leave it at that. So just put A. Research step. Do you want the research to cover customer beliefs, clinical evidence, competitor, product breakdown, market trend, culture, emotional dynamics? I'm just going to do all because I want all of those in there. So you really don't need to put like too much. You don't really need to describe this in too much detail if it's really kind of giving you like the things that you already kind of want to target. Now for 4, geographically, should we focus on research for US buyers only or include any other markets? For now, we're just going to do primarily US buyers only. So now that we have that, we can send this out. And normally this could take a little bit. This can take anywhere from like 10 to 30 minutes, depending on how deep of research ChatGPT actually has to do on your avatar. All right, cool. Now that's done, we'll just take all of this, grab all of this, come over here and then paste it into a separate doc. And then make sure you go ahead and download this as a PDF. The next thing we'll do is the avatar. So make sure you guys go in and download this. Then we'll pop back in here, throw this into here, upload the avatar doc you just downloaded, and then send that out as well. And then next thing we'll get, while that's cooking up, we'll get the offer brief. Come back in here, we'll upload that. Make sure you guys download the offer brief doc again, and then upload that into here. And then make sure you, come in here, copy all of this. And then once that's done downloading, you can send out the next thing. And then while that gets cooking, we will just copy all of this and then put it into a separate doc. All right, boom. So we have our avatar doc. We'll go ahead and then save that as well. Then pop back over here and then pop open this doc. Copy that first prompt that I gave you guys, and then you can go ahead and then send this out next. And then again, obviously make sure you guys copy the offer brief as well, so then we can put that into a separate doc and download that as well. So boom, put that in the doc. Again, same process, download this. And then while that's cooking, we can come back over here, grab the second prompt, and then send this out. And then make sure you guys attach the other 3 docs that we just downloaded to this as well. All right, cool. Once we have those in, we will send that out, and then this will be the last doc we make. And then once this is done, we can just come in here, copy all of this, paste it right back into the doc, download that, and then now we have all the docs done. So perfect. Now let's go back over to the board. All right, perfect. now we have the docs done. So the docs are done. Now the next thing I would want you guys to do, I'm not going to go too in depth in this, is do your manual research. So go on Reddit. Reddit's number one. Go on Reddit. Go on Amazon reviews. So check out the Amazon reviews for it. Check out your comp. Go to their ads. Go to their website. Look at their reviews. Also, check out YouTube. This is a really good one. Watch videos on your product. Look at the comments on your product. And then last, go to TikTok. And then do a bunch of manual research on your customer, how they talk, what are the buzzwords, what are they saying the product's solving for them. Everything like that. Just do deep, in-depth dives into all of these. And then also let me know if you guys want me to make a deeper, in-depth video strictly on market research. I will do that. And doing this with the starting docs and doing manual research is one of the main things that helped my student Xander actually print and get to his 100K month versus just testing products and them dying out because he didn't actually know he was selling to. So this is a big thing that I do not want you guys to skip on. Do your market research, create the docs, and do manual research. Now let's get into actually making the ads. So the main thing that you want to tell yourself is, what are you testing, right? What's the concept? What's the angle? And also, why do you think it's going to work? It's very important that you understand what you're testing in your ad account so you can understand what's actually working and what's not working. So it's really important that before you even write your script, you come up with what concept that you're going to write, what's the angle, and then also give yourself some feedback about why you think it's gonna work, because this is very, very important. Because like if you're just kind of testing junk and you don't really understand why this is going to work, then you're just kind of testing just junk. You don't actually have a deeper meaning behind testing either this angle, this concept. You don't really know exactly why this is gonna work. Okay, now for the next part, how are we going about actually batching these creatives? So how I like to batch my creatives is I like to do 3 hooks, 3 bridges, 1 body, and 1 CTA. So in total, this is going to give us 3 ads. It's really important to test 3 different hooks because obviously this is the most important part of the ad. So we don't want just the hook to be the reason why our ad idea actually died. So that's the reason why we're doing 3 different hooks. And then the bridge just kind of bridges the hook to the body. And then you keep the body the same and the CTA the same in all your ads. So it's very congruent. And then you can kind of know, all right, it was this type of hook that just didn't work. Oh, maybe throughout the bridge, it wasn't a clean bridge that actually explained it from the hook to the body. So you can really understand what's kind of working up in here, and then you can make changes off of that. Now let's get into actually the script writing. So what you're gonna wanna do is come over to Claude. I use Claude just because I've seen it's just been the best AI tool to actually use when it comes to writing scripts. So I'll just name this, let's just do hair loss product, and we'll just make a project around this. So create project. Now you're going to upload the file. So this is where we're going to upload the docs that we just made, and then any manual market research that you also did. I also do have prompts for this, but I do save those for my one-on-one students. So if you guys do want the prompts and you want a master module about how I actually go about doing this in depth, and somebody to also critique you on how you're making your ads, how the copy's looking, everything like that, the application for my one-on-one mentorship will be the first link in the description. All right. So I just uploaded all the docs, and I'm about to just send it out with the prompt that I have, and then we're just gonna see what it's given us. All right, cool. Just got done writing our scripts for us. So before writing, I analyzed all provided documents. Here's what I'm working with. So core mechanism, New Hope, targeted roll-on micro delivery system. So the problem isn't the ingredients, it's the delivery. All right, we kind of learned that from when we were doing our market research, that it's the little roll-on that makes it it's a little roll-on that's kind of like the unique mechanism actually in the product. Target awareness, everybody's product aware, mostly stage 4 through 5. They've tried minoxidil, keeps, Hims, serums. Extremely skeptical. They need to know why this is different. Yep, that makes sense with hair loss. Avatar's pain points. I've tried everything and nothing worked. I hate putting greasy shit in my hair twice a day. I don't want to mess with my hormones. It messes with your head more than people admit. I just want to look like myself again. All right, so yeah, those are pretty good avatar pain points. Very deep desires in that. And then now we can look at actually what it gave us. So like we were talking about earlier, it gave us 3 different types of hooks, and then 1 body and 1 CTA. So we'll just kind of read through script A, and then I'll kind of show you guys like what I'd go about, like just like what kind of like my thinking process is when I'm reading through this. But why most hair products never reach your follicles, all right? They spread across your hair, they evaporate, they never get to where hair loss actually starts. And that's not a you problem, that's a design problem. All right, let's see kind of how that leads into it. I know what you're thinking. You've tried products before, but here's what they didn't tell you. Drew uses a targeted roll-on that applies actives directly to the thinning zones. No spread, no runoff, just consistent. Precise follicle contact exactly where your hair loss starts. No pills, no prescription, no messing with your hormones, just 30-second routine that actually reaches your follicle. Imagine running your hands through your hair and feeling density again. Look at the photos without checking angles first. Walking into a room without thinking about your hairline. Try Root risk-free. If you don't see a difference, you get your money back, no questions. Your hairline doesn't have to decide how confident you feel. Tap below to try Root. So yeah, this isn't bad to start. And as you guys kind of see, one thing that's very, very important is that you're kind of creating that slippery slope. So you're leading them into the next thing. Why most hair products never reach your follicles? All right, well, I've tried a bunch of hair things before. They never worked for me. All right, let's see why. They spread across your hair. They evaporate. They never get to where hair loss actually starts, and that's not a you problem. That's a design problem. All right, well, yeah, okay, so like if they've tried oils, they would understand, all right, it spreads across your hair because when you're putting the oil on your hair, it kind of just like runs down your face and like you're not actually getting it, or maybe like when you leave it on, rub it in, it just evaporates and never gets to sink in. All right, this is kind of something that's like interesting them, like if they were trying the hair oils before, and then that leads us right into the universal hold. So we have to have this first part because of how sophisticated this market actually is. So you kind of tell them, I know what you're thinking. You've tried products before, but here's what they didn't tell you. And then we get into this, all right, it's a targeted roll-on that applies directly to the thinning zones, so there's no spreading, no runoff, just precise follicle contact where you actually start to lose your hair. And then no pills, no prescription, so this is kind of also targeting the people who like they took a bunch of like pills like minoxidil, Hims, like all those like hair loss pills. All right, so it's kind of targeting them, like you don't have to take any pills, no prescriptions, and it won't mess with your hormones. So this was a big thing that I saw in the research, that taking pills will actually mess with your hormones. So that's a big thing that you want to hit on, kind of like give them some scarcity, all right? You don't want to be messing around with your hormones. And then you just kind of give them, like an image of like, all right, what's like the outcome that they could actually have. So like obviously you would pair this with B-roll, so the visual would be very important on this as well. So imagine running your hands through your hair and feeling density again, looking at photos without checking angles first, and then walking into a room without thinking about your hairline. So this is a dream situation that they want to be in. So we're going to use this right before we pitch them and right before we have the call to action. So it's a very good section. And then we just hit them with the CTA, try it risk-free. If you don't see a difference, get your money back, no questions. Your hairline doesn't have to decide how confident you feel. Tap below to try it today. So boom, very, very good. But this will just get you 80% of the way here. What I always like to do is I always just like to take these and then put them into like a separate doc. And then I'll kind of read through it, make sure it sounds good. Like make sure you guys read this out loud, make sure it sounds good. And then also like you can put in like different parts. Like let's just go down to the bridge, right? They spread across your hair. Maybe instead of spread, they like use like run, or they use like leak, or like they use like different types of like buzzwords. So like that's where like you could plug and play different stuff into your script, make it sound more like how the customer actually talks. Then like when we go in here, like we could use like just different wording, like maybe you know more about your product than AI does, so then you can like use different wording in here, stuff like that. And make sure you just read through these and you actually chief your copy so that it's really good, because this will get you 70 to 80% of the way here, but then you have to come in and put your own touches in it to actually make it really good. That's basically how I go about actually writing the scripts with Claude. And I actually do have a whole master module on this that goes really deep in depth about how I actually chief my copy, how I go about like plugging the buzzwords in and everything that I found from my manual research. And it goes into crazy detail so they can actually understand how we're writing banger scripts. Okay, now let's go into the next thing, and that's outsourcing work. So if you are anywhere over 1K days, get a video editor, reinvest into your brand. This is gonna make it 10 times easier because you are going to get to use all your time doing market research, writing the scripts, coming up with new concepts, finding new angles to test, everything like that. And you don't have to do all like the manual work, like editing up your creatives. That's a VA job. So we need to outsource that as fast as possible so we can get our time back. So you guys get a video editor. Once you're above 1K days, you can even do it before. Sometimes I even recommend doing it before. But a good just kind of ground. Once you get above 1K days, get a video editor. This is going to make your job 10 times easier and actually give you your time back to focus on what matters, which is market research and actually writing out the scripts. Now that you get it, it's not about copying ads or hoping the next test works. It's about building a system around your ads so that you consistently pump out winning scripts and be able to test different types of messaging, different angles, different concepts very, very quickly and effectively. And you can see what's actually working and be able to scale without guessing if you should or not. And that's what I help people do. If you're tired of burning money, overthinking creatives, and feel behind, this is exactly how you fix it. This is the exact framework that took my student Xander to his first 100K month. And once you start going about ads this way, everything stops feeling super complicated. If you actually want help implementing this, you can click the first link in the description to apply for my one-on-one mentorship. Anyways, boys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.